The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, avenging one of the most heartbreaking losses in Super Bowl history with a dominant defensive performance against Drake Maye and the New England Patriots. My name is Sebastian Fonseca. This is Spectator Sports. We cover sports from a spectator's point of view. We have a lot to break down from Super Bowl 60, but before we get into the content, please do us a massive favor. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps us out in reaching a broader audience and helping us grow as we're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the 2026 NBA Finals. If you want to get clips from this video or our past videos, you can find them here on YouTube in our various playlists, as well as on TikTok. And if you want to enjoy Spectator Sports from an audio-only perspective, we got that for you on Spotify. Links are in the description, and let's get into the video. The story since the second half of the season has been the Seattle Seahawks defense, which has been nicknamed the Dark Side. Outside of two matchups against the eventual MVP in Matthew Stafford, this unit dominated against opposing offenses, allowing just 8.1 points a game. In Super Bowl 60, we saw another excellent defensive performance from Mike Macdonald's unit, as Seattle was so dominant to the point where New England was shut out for the first three quarters. No points, hardly any momentum, and total suffocation as Drake Maye was under constant duress from the Patriots' first possession. New England managed to drive the ball into Seahawks territory on their first two possessions, only to give up two monster sacks which killed each drive. Throughout the game, the Patriots offense was completely outmatched and had no answers as Drake Maye was under heavy pressure. The Seahawks pass rush got home 6 times and also hit Drake Maye 11 times in the Super Bowl, as we saw an even distribution as Derek Hall had 2 sacks, Byron Murphy also got home twice, Devin Witherspoon came through the slot on several slot cornerback blitzes and eventually got home for a sack in the first half. And we also saw rookie Riley Mills barrel through his fellow rookie Jared Wilson to sack Drake Maye in the first half. In the first half alone, New England had just 51 total yards of offense with just 5 first downs. In the third quarter, it got no better for the Patriots offense as they mustered just 1 first down, which was via penalty. To cap off a disastrous stretch, Derek Hall broke through the line once again to strip Drake Maye, and at this point, New England's offense was held to just 78 yards of offense with 5 first downs, with each drive ending in a punt and later the fumble to end the quarter. After Sam Darnold found AJ Barner to seemingly open up the game, the Seahawks defense allowed a quick score coupled with a 3-and-out on offense, and this gave the Patriots some slight momentum. On the Patriots' next possession, despite a clean pocket, Drake Maye threw a careless interception to Julian Love, which was returned into Patriots territory, allowing the Seahawks to grow their lead with another Jason Myers field goal. Still within 2 possessions, the Patriots crossed the 50, looking to make it a 1-score game, only for Devin Witherspoon to burst through the offensive line once again like a heat-seeking missile to light up Drake Maye into a title-clinching pick 6 to Uchenna Nwosu. Despite giving up some garbage time yardage and a couple of scores in the fourth quarter, Seattle's defense never allowed the Patriots offense to get comfortable. Drake Maye was playing a tick slower than expected, and he never seemed to get comfortable against this vaunted Seahawks defense. As mentioned earlier, the Seahawks pass rush ran over the Patriots offensive line, especially on Maye's blind side. Rookies Jared Wilson and Will Campbell struggled mightily as they gave up a total of 18 pressures, with 14 pressures coming from Will Campbell alone. Campbell was roasted all over social media for his poor performance in the Super Bowl. Many cited one of his major flaws coming out of the NFL draft process, which was his short arm length. But I do want to remind everyone that Will Campbell was playing quite well before he was injured at the tail end of the regular season. It turns out that he did play the rest of the season with a torn knee ligament, and he did return just in time for the playoffs, only to face a gauntlet of pass rushers in the playoffs. To say that he struggled was an understatement. but I do want to give him some grace, and I want to see how he looks with a full offseason to recover and also get better in training camp, in the offseason programs, and then truly evaluate him when he is at full health before labeling Campbell as a bust. Now, I do want to highlight a major changeup by Mike Macdonald in the game plan here, because the biggest change that he made was his pressure package compared to the regular season and even as recently as the playoffs. Because typically, Mike Macdonald doesn't dial up the blitz package too often. The defense typically relies on the front four to get home while the back end stays plastered to the receivers in coverage. But in the Super Bowl, Mike Macdonald threw a changeup that nobody expected, as this confused Drake Maye throughout the Super Bowl. Typically, when you send pressure, it's up the middle and you usually play man in the secondary. But this time, Mike Macdonald sent blitzes through different angles, whether it was up the middle or through the sides using a slot corner blitz, and instead, he played zone coverage to eliminate the man beater, and despite in certain reps where Drake Maye was able to dish out the ball, those plays still ended up in losses due to the zone coverage. There were other times where Mike Macdonald sent a double B-gap blitz which overwhelmed the right side of the offensive line, which was certainly a curveball compared to what we've seen in the past where they target the left side of the offensive line. But I think the biggest curveball of all was utilizing Devin Witherspoon as a blitzer. Now, Witherspoon blitzed 10 times in the Super Bowl, including several times coming out of the slot, which led to the All-Pro cornerback becoming the first ever defensive back to deliver 3 quarterback hits in the Super Bowl. He also had a sack in the first half and delivered the hit that forced an errant throw, resulting in a pick 6, which effectively ended the game. And remarkably, in 2 games at Levi Stadium, the Seahawks have had more sacks and forced turnovers than the 49ers had throughout the entire season. During the postseason, the Seahawks outscored their opponents by over 18 points a game, including 2 blowout wins, becoming the first team ever to win a Super Bowl without committing a single turnover. Between excellent coaching and better execution on the field, the Seahawks defense had a performance for the ages. Now, I briefly want to discuss what the Seahawks did offensively. We will discuss Sam Darnold's redemption story in another video, but between him and K9, what a performance, because Sam Darnold faced similar pressure to Drake Maye, but I think the difference was that he's been around the block now several years. He's bounced around several teams and he's been a full-time starter the last couple of years, that he knows how to navigate pressure really well. And I think also the coaching staff came up with a good plan to navigate those pressure packages sent by the Patriots defense. And there were several situations that he knew how to deal with it, whether it was that he was more accurate, more decisive, but also knew when to dirt the ball when there was no play to be made, or even take the sack, which only happened once on Super Bowl Sunday. For the stretch where Jackson Smith-Njigba was being evaluated for a concussion, Sam Darnold led the first touchdown drive of the game, finding A.J. Barner to create a 19-0 lead. While JSN was being evaluated for a concussion, the number one option in the receiving room automatically went to Cooper Kupp, as he was the Seahawks' leading receiver with 6 catches for 61 yards and stepped up when the Offensive Player of the Year was on the sideline. Jackson Smith-Njigba was quiet in the Super Bowl, but I do want to credit what his impact is in terms of his gravity. In a similar fashion to Steph Curry in basketball, where defenders are looking where is Steph Curry on the basketball court, I think a lot of defenses want to know where is Jackson Smith-Njigba on a given football field. Leading up to the Super Bowl, Jackson Smith-Njigba garnered so much attention that this allowed other guys to have a little bit more breathing room than expected compared to other teams. En route to the Super Bowl, whenever Darnold dropped back to pass and threw to a receiver other than JSN, those receivers were 12% more open compared to the league average, and even as much as twice as wide open compared to the rest of the league, and this is according to Next Gen Stats. Of course, there was some excellent work by the Patriots secondary, and it has to start off with Christian Gonzalez, who I thought was the best player to suit up for the Patriots that very Sunday. He did a great job in shutting down JSN and minimizing the damage what he can do, especially when he lined up outside, and also had a great rep by matching Rashid Shaheed stride for stride to what would have been a huge touchdown in the first half. And like I mentioned earlier, Christian Gonzalez also did a great job matching JSN on the goal line. If he did come down with that interception in the end zone, that very well could have changed the tide in the first half of the Patriots. Now, while Super Bowl 60 was a defensive slugfest, the Seahawks offense did have one bright spot, which was Kenneth Walker III. K9 ran for 135 yards and finished with over 160 total yards from scrimmage, and this was good enough to win Super Bowl MVP honors, making him the first running back since Terrell Davis in 1998 to win Super Bowl MVP. Now, there's a few things about Kenneth Walker that I found truly wholesome. First thing is that his dad got to see him play live for the first time in a long time. Typically, Kenneth Walker's dad doesn't really go out to watch his games, as his father doesn't really like to hang out with big crowds. And to be honest, there's no bigger crowd than the Super Bowl. For the first time in a long time, he actually went out to go watch him, and he delivered with a Super Bowl MVP-worthy performance. What a way to show out in front of your dad. Now, the next thing I found really cool was that he honored his injured teammate, Zach Charbonnet, by writing down a 26 on his wristband. Now, Walker had a touchdown that was called back due to penalty, but should the touchdown have stood, he would have celebrated with that by flashing that 26 wristband in honor of his teammate that couldn't suit up to this game. Unfortunately, Zach Charbonnet suffered a torn ACL in the divisional round and had to miss the rest of the postseason, but I'm sure he appreciated the wholesome gesture from his teammate. And finally, as tradition, the Super Bowl MVP gets invited to a Disney resort, and the invitation was further extended to Sam Darnold as well. The two were seen on the teacups a day after winning the Super Bowl in Disneyland. I don't think it gets more wholesome than that. Now, let's talk about the New England Patriots because, well, it was belt to ass in this particular Super Bowl, and particularly it starts with Drake Maye. The MVP runner-up struggled mightily against Seattle's defense, and the struggles that followed him in the postseason followed him to the Super Bowl. We already discussed how the offensive line had a poor showing, but it was really bad, particularly in Super Bowl 60, as Drake Maye has set an NFL playoff record of most sacks taken in an entire Super Bowl run, dethroning Joe Burrow's 19 sacks that he endured in 2021. And while there were reports that Drake Maye did suffer a significant shoulder injury to the point where he needed a pain-numbing shoulder shot to head in, I'm really not going to allow that injury's excuse to slide here, because at this point of the season, everybody's banged up. He said that his shoulder was fine, just didn't have a great performance. And unfortunately, a lot of those stats that you see, the 295 yards, the 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, a lot of those positive stats came when the game was already out of reach, aka garbage time. And it just goes to show that when you look at a box score, a lot of stats can be misleading, just like last year when Patrick Mahomes finished with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Well, he did finish the game with 3 overall turnovers, and a lot of those yards and touchdowns were after the Kansas City Chiefs were already trailing 34-0 to the Eagles last year. And what I saw in this game is that Drake Maye is just a young quarterback making young quarterback mistakes. He wasn't anticipating pressure, he was holding onto the ball far too long, just made some really awful decisions. It didn't help at all that Seattle special teams played lights out, with Michael Dixon booming 3 punts inside the 20-yard line, and I think even 3 of those kicks were inside the 10-yard line, to be honest. And on top of it, you saw Jason Myers come up with 5 field goals, which is an NFL record. And remarkably, Jason Myers himself actually outscored the entire New England offense in Super Bowl 60 with a score of 17-30. Now, of course, a lot of these shortcomings on offense, I think, has to fall on the shoulders of Josh McDaniels, who came up with a terrible game plan to attack the Seattle defense, as there was no real attempt to establish a run, and there were hardly any touches in Travion Henderson's way. And this trend we saw all postseason long. Ramondre Stevenson got double the amount of touches compared to Travion Henderson, and I just don't understand why. Henderson was the back that had the home run threat capability, and I thought maybe to stick with him a little bit more, and then he could rip off a big game, and that could get Seattle's defense to play honest and also maybe put them on the back foot. But there was too many times when I thought there was just pass play, pass play, pass play. I do understand that Drake Maye is no Tom Brady. The comparisons were unfair on every standpoint. But Josh McDaniels already has done a great job in planning a good game plan for Drake Maye, but in this particular setting, and we can even talk about the entire postseason, he didn't put his quarterback in situations to succeed, as the Patriots returned into a one-dimensional team, and when Seattle knew that the run game was not really a threat, their defense could pin their ears back, swarm like a bunch of sharks smelling blood in the water, forcing Drake Maye into rushing throws and also turnovers. Drake Maye also finished the postseason with a 40 QBR, which ranks third worst in NFL history. Now, what we did learn about the New England Patriots, at least in 2025, is that their soft schedule caused them to get exposed on the biggest stage in the Super Bowl. They rode a last place schedule to a 14-3 record, beating just two teams with a winning record, and Drake Maye regressed in the playoffs, giving up 8 turnovers and enduring 21 sacks. And like I said earlier, this broke the previous record held by Joe Burrow just 4 seasons ago in 2021. Once the competition elevated in the postseason, the Patriots offense would fail to elevate themselves. Their defense attacked Justin Herbert against a patchwork offensive line in the wild card round, and then forced 5 turnovers, including 4 first-half interceptions off of CJ Stroud, which included a pick 6. And the cherry on top is that this defense feasted on a backup quarterback in Jared Stidham instead of Bo Nix in the AFC Championship game. All these circumstances are just so rare that I would highly doubt that this would happen ever again. So while it is nice to say that the Patriots made the Super Bowl in year 1 under Mike Vrabel, in year 2 under Drake Maye, it's safe to say that their weak-ass schedule got them exposed on the game's biggest stage and also getting outcoached on every level. It's also not safe to say that the Patriots will be automatically back. Looking ahead to their opponent, especially on the road, it's absolutely brutal. They face the Bears, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bills again, the Bills within division, the Jaguars, and the Seattle Seahawks in a Super Bowl rematch. Until Jalen Hurts broke through and ended a 3-decade-long drought where quarterbacks who lost their first Super Bowl never returned, there's no guarantees that Drake Maye will do so anytime soon. I talked about their schedule for 2026, but remember that this team feasted on inferior competition, and at least offensively, they failed to level up their play against the big boys in the playoffs. We've seen it last year with Jaden Daniels, where he led the Washington Commanders to exceed expectations and get all the way to the NFC Championship game. But look at where they were in 2025 when they were knocked out of the playoffs in early December, and Jaden endured an injury-riddled sophomore campaign. And we've seen this with Joe Burrow. He hasn't made it back to the Super Bowl since 2021. So the list goes on. While it is easy to say like, oh, they're young, oh, they have a talented roster, the circumstances change year by year. There's going to be a lot more tape on Drake Maye heading into 2026. The level of competition will be far more difficult compared to a last place schedule that they played in 2025. So while it is easy to say, oh, they can return, that is far easier said than done. And we will learn a lot about the Patriots in the offseason, what moves they make. But this team was never really supposed to be here, coming off of back-to-back 4-13 campaigns.